Oh, watch what you say.
Would our guests like to lead us in a pledge of allegiance? A salute to the flag.
Lead.
Yes.
Allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice requirements of the New Jersey Public Meetings Law have been satisfied by noticing the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times on January 3rd, 2025, stating that a regular meeting of the Colesbeck Township Committee would be held on October 29, 2025, 7 p.m. Town Hall, on Veterans Way, Colesbeck. Copy is on file in the office of Township Clerk. Further notice was provided to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times on October 10, 2025, noting the meeting time change from 7 p.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Trina, would you do a roll call?
Deputy Mayor Viola.
Here.
Committeeman Buzetta.
Here.
Committeewoman Fitzpatrick.
Here,
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Here.
And Mayor Buss.
I am here. Resolution 2025-173, executive session. This is regarding potential litigation and contract negotiations. Any comments? Can I get a motion to approve?
And also we added personnel, just so you know. that
And
resolution.
Contracts and contract negotiations and thank you for your comment. We're on that. I said that.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
the echo's back.
For those lovely folks who
know,
decided to
it
join
is.
us early, we're going to leave the live stream going. We're going to adieu to speak of some stuff, and then we're going to get going. I did leave some handouts in the back for your perusing in the meantime.
Street open.
Oh, is that?
It's.
Was it a breakthrough or something?
Yeah. Truck it. Because there it is, there's two, that's Lucas's whole house, and then one.
Yeah, so you're saying, yeah.
And my mom's right at that.
Right, right there.
One of yours, they do that. They connecting to this. They connecting to the old, whatever fifth name is for. So we connect to this crystal book or something. The street opens, and then you just drive away, it's just, you cut a curve. I'm sorry.
And then it's a contract purchase of property.
Mm-hmm. The purpose there, like predatory. No one else can stop it. Good evening.
I know that's cool.
Good, how are you?
Now, we were late on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lose track between planning and here.
Yeah,
I thought John was great. I don't see more of that.
he insisted, you know, he was very insistent. You know what I was happy to see? Because I had, come up and, spoke my concern about on points, the lights. You know, it gets dark there because the kids are playing, but the lights don't work.
We talked about that outside.
Yeah, and I was there for 3 hours last week with my grandkids, because mommy and daddy went to parent conference meetings. And, the lights were on. Yes,
Interview.
yes, they were all on, all the lights were fixed.
They was,
Yeah. And also it looks, I'm not sure, but the, you know, the gravel, because there's no asphalt, which is kind of annoying. But it looks like they kind of worked on it to bring it all down.
it slows people
Yeah. But it's so testing. Like you can't keep your car, you're breathing it in like,
down. If you move it up, and it's asphalt, they sit in and out pretty quick.
yeah.
So what we're gonna have, kids, so it was better. But it would make it slow.
That is true. Yeah. I was happy to see that, nice and bright, you know. Have you been,
How long are those white lights stay on?
you know, I'm not sure because we left at 8 o'clock, that's when they gave it, and everybody was just leaving. So I guess they automatically shut down, maybe like at 8:30 or
So
something.
I think you have to.
No, that's the last.
Because I know some towns, they run till like 11 o'clock at night. Back then. But they were asking,
But they had the, the AstroTurf, which is like amazing.
I get it.
Yeah, that's amazing that they have that, yeah. A lot of the fields do not have that, you know?
Good evening. So if nobody's noticed, we have new next door.
I did. I saw when they were being redone,
Build next.
yeah.
Thanks, they've done. What brings you in tonight?
I come as many nights as you do,
Yeah.
recently more.
Well, I've taken a break for a while. I'll take more.
You take more, okay. Just checked my protection that I, you know, they cut down all the trees from the, old building and put new ones in, and they didn't put any beard protection around them. So I did that a few weeks ago.
Oh, you did, on your own?
Well, that's one way to get it done.
Well, who gave you the gear fence? Did they give it?
No, I found it. My father was a bureaucracy, it's not that much money.
I hear you.
It's-
Should we do that as a home?
There's also another approach to things, it's better to do something as your business than to ask permission.
But you know what, I put it all in and they come back and take it down.
They had, it could be that what they did, but they took it down and not what they was doing.
Now, how are you, sir? How are you?
Oh, And that just reminds me, Mary Ann keeps commenting, and you get her list of calls. And she's recently been reminding us that we are being recorded.
Wonderful about that.
No, that's what she's.
If you go to the link, that link is not operational.
So why is she saying it is?
I don't, sometimes
Either you or she are wrong.
well, I just opened that link up, what she said. showing us.
Okay. Oh,
Now, they may be. No.
yeah, I've never tried to coach through it. Is it something like a Zoom or do I need some kind of software?
Well, you need some, the special stuff is sitting next to you.
Okay,
Call, live stream, click on that,
okay.
and it comes up and says that page is available.
So. Hi, how are you? Good. So it's something like this.
So it's not open.
This one, we're giving to one of the mothers that understand online again. And she said, I want to get it. So I'm giving her this form.
Or maybe it set it up so that it would only ring at just the right time.
So this is not streaming, it's not live.
It's a lot.
It's on. The camera is on, but the link is not on. So the public can't hear this.
But it can be recorded.
Yes,
Oh, I don't know about that.
yes.
We just don't know. It's a shame.
If they recorded it, then when we went to the history.
Well, on previous ones, when you go back and play, you can hear the voice. You can hear the voice.
Alright, so we have the answer. Or you already had the answer.
I don't know how they do it. You know, I thought that, but you might be on the right. If people don't like that, that's tough.
Well, I don't say, I say things to everybody, and I don't say everything I think.
Well, to me, it's like a thought. It's just in French, you should be able to say.
All that's gonna happen.
I thought John here last week was just outstanding. So I'm sure we'll be, and I said, we don't thank you. So I'm sure we'll be seeing more transparency, and this is people, I'm absolutely.
I saw him at the trunk or treat.
I can't hear you.
I saw him at the trunk or treat.
Okay.
The coach camp.
Okay.
It was on Saturday, and I thanked him for,
That's
you
gonna
know,
walk right here.
asking all the questions and trying.
What's funny is, a lot of those questions I had asked of the committee, who were at the grammar school, and they responded to me, and said, well, those are very good questions, but they never answered.
They acknowledge they
Well,
were.
that every year.
But he's on the Zoom,
Correct.
and they never answered the Zoom.
So they did, actually, 3 times, and as I shared with you, not the numbers changed 3 times from,
Well,
so
they're
he was
creative.
winging it,
It's creative.
he was winging it, or shooting out of his butt, you know, whatever you want to call it. Shooting from the hip, is that what it's called?
There you go.
That's a better term.
Are the meeting minutes of the executive sessions make it available?
Generally, there should be a different. Then the other side of it is the strategy and deal with that section will be blocked out.
Yeah.
So if you want to get why don't
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I.
Hey, I'm gonna be now. I just wanted
Well, the extension.
That's what I think, therefore they want you to go in this.
No.
I'll take some. I'll take some.
They were hoping that you could get one.
Yes, 10 to 8, Sunday, 10 to 6, then November 10th. Tuesdays, at your old book.
But she can say, and she's saying, yes, we're probably actually gonna.
Any ideas about it's a mistake? The best is more than they could be able to. And they're supposed to do it. Which means you can.
We always.
Right, I do like that.
Wow, what are you doing?
Oh, the legend.
I don't know about that. Hello, everybody.
I've been talking about.
Hopefully good.
You know, I was gonna bring my junk to buy a sign. You know, I know that's not your.
Right. So I, you know, yeah, it's all good, it's all good.
So by the way, I told you we're not, you're running on first. So I'm assuming that you know where you should be.
Yours, mine, don't count on others.
A new day with executive session. Always.
Once you declare a primary, no longer go back. Anybody who runs with that,
Listening to what I'm saying right now.
So anybody who runs. Not that I, not that
I like that. He just suggested.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you do. Actually, starting off in the world, it's like a straight off the Oh, yeah, we did.
Oh, good. You're doing it right. I was saying.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
What are you signing up for? Oh, good.
Sorry.
And you, so it was recently taken, right?
We're building around there.
Yeah, so what they'll make, I'm sure. Yeah, I know, you have to call that
Compliance.
Yep, yeah. Usually. Primary, we'll see what happens, we'll see what happens too. But,
Well, I don't know if they would do it themselves. The last time. Well, turned out to be.
Now let's see. Which one did he quote? Which one? He did. Did he quote one? He only quoted one.
As long as we do a couple of times, you accept it, no. You can turn around.
Two meetings.
Yeah, they say that last time. I wonder
How
what
much of each?
Oh my God, what did you get then?
And you just start.
Because this little snowblower.
I know, you don't even choose. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna
That doesn't affect that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they look up ranch. They have to show.
Gets overwhelmed with what's telling me. So he doesn't want to do that. She's afraid of something. Right there, back in the country.
You just got.
All right, go.
Yeah, that's not, that's not.
What do you mean it gets Christmas?
know how to apply skills. They come up.
Did you get flowers?
Dan, you were first, right? You made a motion? Yes, I did.
Sorry, I should have recorded that.
Yes.
Tom, do you think do you want to sit up here and I'll sit over here? So you have it, so you're talking to the crowd? Let me do that.
Or we can roll another chair up. Would be fine.
Tom, do you want to sit there? Yeah. Just so they can
Yeah, I
see you
think that
talking
would
to
be, a better way to go.
So it sounds like I feel like I'm testifying.
Well, yeah, you look like a prosecutor. I think, can you do it that way? I can get, I can open it for
The
you.
door's closed.
I'll get it for you, that one right there.
That door's open. Right
Is
there.
it? I'll apologize in advance to our audience who's been sitting here. I apologize for our long executive session. Some people here like to speak a lot.
I was standing. Wasn't it?
Can I get a motion to go back into open session?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Again, I apologize for everybody here. One of the things I just want to go off topic before we jump to a discussion item is to request of my fellow committee members. A request was made by one of our residents and volunteers to provide time during our meetings after our Pledge of Allegiance. And I'd like to see if amenable to doing a moment of silence at the beginning of our meeting, along with our Pledge of Allegiance. For
Agreed.
Sure. As we move forward, I'd really like to take a moment of silence. Today, I'd like to take a moment of silence for our military. There's a lot of things that are going on in our world, our first responders, also to keep them safe in the upcoming storm. So if we could just take a few moments of silence. Thank you. We'll be making that change moving forward. Discussion item, 22 Princeton Lane, street opening permit moratorium relief.
Yes, 22 Princeton, the homeowner here, very good. Did you want to say a few words to the governing body before we consider your request?
No, I mean, yeah, sure.
You could just come on up, state your name. Yeah, state your name and address for the record for
Sure,
us.
Vasgan Siavomans, 22 Princeton Lane. So we submitted the application to have, this was the final lot in the subdivision that we decided to erect a house in there. And once the application was submitted, exactly three weeks after that, I think, they decided, you guys decided to pave the road. There was a final code that needed to go on it. And after the approval, when NJNG went in to try and do the connection, which is about, if I'm not mistaken, about 2 feet from the property line off of the cul-de-sac. This is the last lot on the cul-de-sac. There was a moratorium, so I'm here to ask if it's possible to allow this to happen.
Excellent, thank
That's
you.
about it.
So in your package, you do have a memo from our township engineer who has reviewed the proposal. As you can see, if you read through the detail, he does not have any objections to doing so, although he does put some conditions there to ensure that the disruption to the pavement is in fact rectified post the opening by NJNG. If there's
Thank you.
no
I
objections.
do not have an objection.
Very good.
In
That's
accordance
good.
with the engineer's instructions. on-
Right, so we would memorialize the approval or the relief, if you will, of the moratorium, conditional upon meeting the engineer's recommendations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thank you. Our next discussion item is affordable housing. I know a lot of people here lot of information out there regarding affordable housing. We have the lovely pleasure of having Tom Troutner here, our affordable housing attorney, and of course, our township attorney, who also knows a tremendous amount in the affordable housing realm. So thank you for being here. We're going to provide an opportunity to give some information. Here, we're going to give the opportunity for people to ask questions with Mr. Troutner here as well, but we will do the best to kind of share our information as well. I just wanted to kind of, before we get started, is kind of take it back a little bit. Not that far back, but the reason I wanted to bring it up, that's okay, you don't have to listen to me. I've gotten a lot of questions about the affordable housing and specifically about the grant. In full disclosure, I've not been involved in the negotiations of this because I happen to myself live in the grant, which is why I've had a lot of experience, with that community. I know a lot of the people in the community, so I felt it was of a concern and ethical implication for me to be involved in those. But as a municipal housing liaison who does this for my job, I really felt I wanted to kind of chime in on some of these questions that I've had. Basically, the long and the short of it is 30 years ago, the grant came into, I know I said I wasn't going to go back that far, but I said 30 years ago. The grant came into play as an opportunity for people to come move into our town. Affordability controls were placed on that fall under the UHAC regulation. So one of the things that will, if anyone has questions on that, but that's basically the uniform housing affordability controls. And that's kind of what governs affordable housing. And that's the rules that we follow by the state. So as affordability controls expire, the township had the opportunity to extend affordability controls on these properties. We have 66 owner-occupied properties. We have 22 rental properties. We have a ordinance on tonight, a resolution for the rentals. And so we wanted to give people the opportunity here to ask questions and give some information about affordable housing. So a couple of questions that I received that I just want to kind of get out there and give some of the answers to. The affordability controls have expired, so that then triggers the township, the municipality, to exercise its right of first refusal or engage with owner-occupied units to extend the affordability controls, okay? Before that happens, the township does not have that right. So a lot of people had asked questions about the rentals. There was one owner of 22 rentals. Why didn't the town engage at that point? The town did not have the right because the affordability controls had not expired at that point. If given the opportunity, I can say I think everybody up here in the governing body would have taken that opportunity to negotiate with that buyer. But just like we can't tell you that you are looking to sell your house, you have to run it by us, we didn't have that right. So now that the affordability controls have expired, the town is offering a $40,000 payment to homeowners to extend the affordability controls. One of the biggest questions we've been asked is the taxability of that money. Because of affordable housing legislation and the way it works, this money would not necessarily be considered income. The town is not intending on sending out 1099s. Now, one of the things, we've had several people who have consulted tax accountants. So we basically say everybody needs to consult their tax accountant across the board. People who have consulted their tax accountants, they're all asking, is the township sending out a 1099? We're here to say, no, the township is not planning on sending out a 1099 for this money. If the owner chooses to accept this money, they'll extend the affordability controls. There is no length of time that you have to hold on to the property before you're able to sell it. So some people said, if I take this money, do I have to live in it for another year? You do not necessarily, you can turn around and sell it, but yes, it will always remain an owner-occupied unit. Somebody asked if they can rent it. These are always owner-occupied units. they are not able to be rented. So if you decide to extend the affordability controls, it is still considered an owner-occupied unit. So I'm just going through my questions that people had asked me. If an owner accepts the offer to extend the affordability controls, do they still have to pay the town any money? There is no recapture ordinance if you extend the affordability controls when you go to sell. So that is not the case. If an owner chooses not to extend the affordability controls at the time of the sale, is the the entitled to get that $40,000? So if an owner decides to do nothing right now and not extend the affordability controls, will they be able to get that money in the future? I think that we can all agree there is a finite period of time in which we can get credit through our spending plan. There is a finite time. I believe we are extending, is that correct, the time, and you guys can chime in later and give those specifics. But once you extend the affordability controls, you do not have to pay any recapture back to the town, and it is your unit to continue living in. I know the majority of people I know have no intention of selling. They want to stay there and continue living in a great community as they always have. Can we jump in there with anybody else if you guys want to add to some of the questions that you might have had or anything that has come up on your end? To my two affordable housing liaison, not that you guys can't chime in too. But
Just repeating what the mayor said, the biggest question that I've had from people is if they accept the $40,000, which effectively means that unit remains affordable for 30 years, can they then either A, rent the unit? The answer is no. You have to live in the unit. Or two, as the mayor said, can you sell the unit? And the answer is yes, you can sell it.
I'm sorry, I think it might have frozen. I just wanted to.
No, we're moving.
I see people moving. Excellent. Thank you.
So can you then sell the unit? The answer is yes, you can sell it at the restricted price set by the state to someone else who qualifies for that unit. This is voluntary. Someone, I think I read somewhere that, that we're playing hardball. This is a voluntary opportunity for people who have benefited from living in these units to continue to keep that unit in the affordable stockpile. And the reason we want to do that is because, as we all know, we've all talked about this, the state has imposed on every municipality in Colts Neck that we have to have a certain number of affordable housing units. This is a way that we can begin to satisfy that mandate by keeping the existing housing that we have and not build more housing. So that was the purpose behind our offer to pay $40,000 to extend the affordability controls on these units.
And I would just add that we are going to extend the period for those in the audience who have received your letter from the township. It's dated that the opportunity expires on the 3rd of December. Because we've had this taxation thing that we wanted to get out to everybody, our attorneys will be drafting a letter to each individual owner with this information on the taxation and an extension to the 17th of December. So we're giving you 2 additional weeks.
Mayor, are we going to invite the public to ask questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
This
you'll
is,
have an opportunity to ask questions of us.
does
in a
anyone else
moment.
want to state anything before we kind of open it up to see if people have questions?
Tom, do you have anything to just?
Hi, hi everyone. I'm Tom Troutner. I'm from the law firm of Keys, Shaheni and Giatomasi. We're the township's affordable housing attorneys, and my name's probably on letters that some of you have received. I largely echo what the mayor said and what Councilman Bezzetta and Committeeman Viola has said. And I'm happy to address individual questions, as I imagine you're going to have them when you come up to the dais. But it's largely as has been stated. But happy to dig into any if you have a specific question or there's any ambiguity, I'm happy to try and clarify it.
Yeah, so we're going to go off script a little bit here. This is a discussion item. We're going to allow for folks in the audience to discuss with us. So I'm going to open it up to see who would like to come up. If you have any questions, comments, please come up to the microphone.
Specifically on affordable housing.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Specifically on affordable housing, we are having another public comment section at the end on all issues and topics. Mr. O'Brien.
Kevin O'Brien, 18, the enclosure, I'll break the ice. So if I'm understanding correctly, the 66 units that are out there that are owner occupied, those can be retained under this program for $40,000 per each unit, correct?
If people want to extend the affordability controls, they can take a payment of $40,000.
So that would be, if my math is correct, $2.64 million. How is that being paid?
Was it our existing bond?
We've adopted a bond ordinance earlier in the year to pay for this.
Thank you. Can the $40,000 be later be returned to Colts Neck to release that restriction so that can be sold then at a higher margin for the property owner?
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
And just so, this is 66 units times $40,000 is a lot of money, $2.6 million. Because of the way the affordable housing laws work in this state, if we didn't get credits for any of the 66 units and that 66 unit remains on the tally sheet that the town owes, because the laws allow for 5 units to be built for every 1 affordable housing, we're talking about the potential of, do the math, 300 more units in town. The cost to the town of having 300 more units far and away exceeds the $2.4 million that we've bonded to pay for this. So it's a lot of money. It's your money. It's all of our money. But when you compare paying the $40,000 per unit to the cost of having 300 units, more police, more fire equipment, more traffic, the wear and tear on our roads, the children in our schools, right? It costs $34,000 to educate one child in our school. The numbers add up astronomically. So we're trying to balance those costs.
Additionally, Mr. O'Brien, currently we have approximately $1.3 million in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. That is not township money. That is paid by developers for certain development so the Kling development that went up on Clover Hill Road, those 7 houses, there's no affordable houses there. He had to pay 1% of the improvements into the developers trust. So our developers trust has currently approximately $1.3 million, but it's encumbered by the court's round 3 decision. That is one of our reasons for appeal. So if those monies are released to us, we will be using those monies to help pay for these preservation. In addition, we did utilize a bond 2019, I think it was, a bond that we're going to use potentially to pay for the $470,000 to preserve the rental units. We're not financing that bond yet. I was incorrect at planning board. We did not finance that. I was wrong. We are going to wait as well. We have 2 years before we need to lock in long-term financing. So we're hoping next year our appeal will be heard by the court and hopefully a favorable decision later in the year. And those funds would help mitigate some of the cost to the township.
Thank you. Tina?
First, the resale.
Tina, can you just give your name?
Tina
please, and
Rose Dooley,
address?
36 Parker Path.
Thank you.
So first, the only sale can be back to the township for the amount that's listed on the paper that we got from the attorney, right? the listed value of
The maximum restricted sale
So
price.
if the town exercises a right of first refusal, then.
So all those numbers are all over the place, and no one understands why. And since none of the condos were ever really appraised by anyone to look at what, I know there's no additions to it. How could you make an addition to a condo unless you broke out a wall outside of the unit? So none of them have been looked at, and the numbers are all over the place. And I'm one of the last owners, so I bought it at a higher price, and my number is almost lower than what I bought it for. So that seems a little confusing. When I call the office, by the way, it's nice to meet you because you never answer the phone, but that's okay. Jennifer does, or Amy does, or some nice secretary who runs around to try to find someone, but no one can explain the formula. We're just told it's a formula. Okay. So that doesn't really seem like a real way to, answer people when they ask about what is the formula. Maybe it's mathematical and too high end for us, but at least we could get a little understanding of that.
Tina, can I just jump in for a second, and then I'm going to let you take the technical stuff, but I know it's very confusing with the numbers and why they're all different. So just to kind of give the basics, because you're probably so far beyond the basics, but for some of us that we need the basics here. Affordable housing is based upon a few different categories. Okay, there's very low, there's low, and then there's median. And those all fall within certain percentages below a certain threshold. Okay, so there will be the same exact size unit. It could have the same exact features, but because it falls within a very low category or a moderate category, there can be a $50,000 difference there. And that's simply based upon what it was assigned at the time at which it was deed restricted 30 years ago. So it falls within that. So that might be one of the reasons, because I think I was getting confused as well with some of the numbers.
Yeah, they're all over the
There's, some people can have a maximum restricted price at 150 and then others are like 205. That really has to do primarily with what that unit is assigned, the affordable level at which it's assigned. And
So
then
that's more information than we would get.
and the state every year comes up with a percentage that it's allowed to, and they usually come out with it in May. And the state basically says, kind of like for people, the Social Security comes out and gives you a percent raise, a cost of living. The state gives a specific amount that affordable property owners are allowed to raise those rents. There's a percentage associated with it. Okay, so I believe this past May it was 5%. The year before it was 5.2. But then there was previous years where it was 6%. Then it was 2.8, 2.2. I went back and looked 10 years. So it's anywhere from 2.5%. Landlords are basically allowed to increase the rents by that maximum amount. So I just wanted to chime in with some of that.
Well, that's good. Everyone can understand it.
Which is
because I
where
couldn't
they get that
more
maximum
information than it was
restricted
a
price.
formula.
And Tom, you can jump in with some.
No, that's largely it. So there's a formula which is in the regulation, which it's not even really a formula. If I read it to you, it would make no sense.
I'm
It
sure.
barely makes sense to me. But there is a spreadsheet calculator that the Township's Affordable Housing Administrator uses that calculates, and as you probably are suspecting, it depends on when you bought your unit, the price you bought your unit at, how long ago that was, whether it's a low, moderate, or very low income unit. And I don't think the bedrooms matter, but it could. I could be wrong about that, so I don't want to say something that's wrong.
Okay.
There's a woman in my office. Her name is Amy Howard. I'm hoping to have spoken to her at some point.
Yes.
I have delegated to her to take a lot of these calls because candidly, my day's usually crazy because I chair my department too.
Right.
But we can get you a kind of a breakdown year by year of, as the mayor's indicated, 1 year it goes up 2%, another year it goes up 4%, some years it goes up 0%, usually it goes up at least something. And by the end, that's how you get to the maximum restricted sales price. And you do see some scenarios where somebody bought a unit for $50,000, 30 years ago, and they're going to see 174% return, based on what the maximum resale price is now. And then there's other situations. I'd be surprised if it was lower, but I do know there's other situations where the percentage increase over a certain period of time is not as great. But it's all formula. There's no input from the township in terms of what these numbers come out
Okay.
at.
And then there was someone who was in here tonight, one of our owners. She was just telling me, she called up and she asked Amy about, so if you sign and you take the 40,000, when do you get the money? So Amy said it comes, I'm just saying what someone told me.
Yeah.
It comes on a rolling basis, but only after all 66 people have signed. Now, that seems to me like that might be a very difficult thing to get, all 66 people to sign, since 2 of them passed away. I don't even know if they're there.
If
Yeah,
Amy said
that's-
that would be incorrect, although if I'm being completely candid, I don't think we've completely decided on the date certain by which the checks would go in the mail.
Right,
But-
so some people are asking, what, will we get it in 10 years?
Yeah,
but-
I was going to say, I can answer and give you a roundabout answer. Probably what Amy was referring to is we've given a deadline of, it was December 3rd, now it's December 17th, thank you. And that gives everybody the opportunity to extend their affordability controls, okay? Or not, right, or not. Absolutely, it's,
Right, the way this was understood, and that's.
Yeah,
why I wanted
and
to clear
that's-
up. All
that's not the
66 will
case.
sign somehow, either say, yes, I'll take it, or
Yes.
no, please sell my unit, or buy it from us. That will be an impossible task.
absolutely, Tina, and that's not, so I apologize if it came across that way. There's a
Because
lot of
Amy said no one
information.
ever beats her, so she's going to get all 66 signed. So you're better off answering the phone than Amy at this point. 'Cause Amy's
Actually, I like Amy.
antagonizing all the-
I like Amy. Go big or go home.
I talked to Jennifer. I haven't had the pleasure of talking.
Can Amy tell you this?
No, I'm repeating this from someone.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it could be misinterpreted, but this is what, she said, I wrote it down.
We anticipate, Tina, that once this closes out at the end of the year and everybody has the opportunity, we would expect checks to go out first quarter of 2026.
So that's better. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, of the 66, how many actually are we negotiating with right now?
Well, we're closing on 1 unit. We are exercising a right of first refusal. A resident wanted to sell their unit to the township. That is due to close imminently. And then we have several signed documents from owners who have stated they intend to extend the affordability controls.
So we're not even close to the 2.6 million.
No.
Thank you.
Hi,
Welcome.
my
I'm
name
sorry.
is Eleanor Poyner, 14 Federal Key. And I did have a pleasure to speak to Mr. Trapner before. And I have a couple of questions. Question number 1, I'm the first owner. I've been there for 30 years. I was 50 years old when I bought it. I'm 80 years old now. I have numerous health problems, and one of them that in 2009, I fractured my vertebrae. And for a
Very
couple
sorry
of
to hear
years, it didn't bother me. But for the past 3 years, it's killing me. I was at the doctor's office. He suggested more treatments. There is operating procedures, few more, and that is the point I am. I have arthritis from the car accident when my cousin was a driver, and with now the weather is getting cold and my hands getting swollen. So I have a lot of problems. I've been looking at my deed, and my deed does not state where I have to notify township in advance, 60 days. It's also the letter, it just says that I can sell for the market value, but I have to split 50-50 with the township. I also got the letter, it's called Declaration of Pre-Existing Rights. In that declaration, which is dated January 9, 25, this does not mention anything about notifying the township. Just give me a break, it's hard for me to stand. I renovated my place completely. Mr. Troutner probably got the picture because I sent the whole package. I took that with me again, where it shows that I renovated my place completely. I still owe the bank $100,000, and because a lot of things after 30 years, they start deteriorating, including the appliances, which some of them I did not buy at the closing. I bought them after the closing. I just would like to know what is my option, because I am not a moderate unit. However, it says on this letter dated from January 9, 25, it mentioned that my unit is moderate. But I bought it as a low income. So how it's been treated, I do not know. Now, that's one thing. Another thing is, if I get, and how does this apply? 152, they send you people, because it's nothing really. I spoke to Mr. Unfuser so many times. I'm sorry to hear what happened to him, very sorry, because he was kind of like upset over the whole thing too, you know, and he did not exactly know, and he could not give me exact direction with which way to go with this, you know. So if I sell it for 152 and pay the bank, it leaves me with practically enough money to get the plot that Beth Israel has, you know, cemetery where my parents buried. So
Mrs. Pointer, I want to just kind of.
I'm very upset of this whole issue, you know,
absolutely,
really upset. Do I have the right to refuse the people also?
So I want to address some of the questions that you brought up. Can I just, because you're speaking and we're kind of.
I am speaking because I'm very emotional about this. This is my life.
This is your life. This is your home. And I think there's a lot of people here in the same boat as you.
I don't know, because a lot of people are younger than me.
Listen, I completely understand. I just want to try and get us focused here. We are in a public meeting with a variety of folks here with questions. Your personal situation, I certainly feel for you. And we can certainly talk offline. I want to be able to answer some of your questions so that others can benefit from it as well. And then we can kind of discuss it separately. You had asked, what is your option? Okay.
I'm sorry. What is the guidance for selling this?
So
they just send the people, or it might not even happen that they'll sell the people.
So this is the situation. People can choose to stay where they want and do nothing. You can choose to stay where you want. I'm gathering that based upon what you're saying is you're not necessarily looking to do so. Okay. The township has what's our latest resident level here? How many people? We have close to 11,000 residents. Okay. When we make decisions and we follow the law, we cannot pick and choose people in their situations. We have to follow the law and the rules. With that being said, I don't know your personal financial situation and how you did renovations and spent some of that. But I'm here to say you can either choose to do nothing at all and stay in your unit. You can choose to take the $40,000, extend the controls and sell it at a rate, which would be at a percentage that is around the rate that I bought my place at a market rate. It goes up a certain percentage. You're still profiting from that. Or you could choose to sell it to the town. I just wanted to give those so people understood that there are options for you. You're asking about your personal financial situation, and we're not.
That's what I would like.
Eleanor, we're not going to talk about your personal financial situation. So, Tom, if you want to chime in with.
How does it work?
So,
let's say I
can walk you through that.
Let's say, okay, I decided to sell my unit. This is what my question was. I think you misunderstood me also. My question is, let's say I decided to sell it. Okay, so I write this note, I bring it to the township, and what? Then what are the steps after that?
Absolutely. So the first thing that would happen would be the township would consider the notice, what's called a notice of intent to sell, and would very likely just elect to exercise what's called a right of first refusal. You would get a letter back from the town, probably with a purchase and sale agreement, either with that letter or coming shortly thereafter. You could take that contract, purchase and sale agreement, to an attorney to represent you in the sale of the home. There's terms that can be negotiated, but not the sale price. The sale price is fixed at the maximum resale value. The township would adopt a ordinance permitting it to acquire your home. And then we and your attorney would agree upon a closing date, and it would be like any other residential home.
And after 30
transaction.
years, that's all they can do is buy my unit for 152,000 after I renovated this unit completely. Is that correct?
Unfortunately.
This is how I understand this?
Yeah, so unfortunately, again, the maximum resale price is fixed by regulation. I know what you're saying about the renovations. If you happen to have added bedrooms, that might change the dynamic, but because it's a townhome or condo, I imagine that's probably not the case. Unfortunately, the law doesn't allow for ordinary home renovations to affect the maximum restricted sale price.
Okay, and what is this letter from January 9th? That's what it says, my unit is moderate.
That's the deck. Oh, so we can look into that. It's sometimes there are paperwork errors. If you have a low income unit and instead of a moderate income unit, we can correct the maximum resale price to make sure you're getting the correct value. I mean, certainly we're not trying to.
But I can look at the moderate price, right?
It'll be if you're in a low income unit, it'll be based on it being a low income unit. If you're in a moderate income unit, it'll be based on you being in a moderate income unit, and we can certainly clarify that.
It was a low income unit.
Yeah. So we could fix that. I think I don't know if that answers your question.
I think that's it, and I would prefer Miss Amy to not contact me, because I did have a conversation with her. I find her to be very abrasive towards me, and I'm not at the age where she can talk to me like I'm a little girl and yell at me. I refuse that. I'm sorry, but that's
Tom,
what
am
it
I
is.
correct also? She could also choose to pick the $40,000 and maintain the affordable housing controls, and then at a later time sell it.
Yes, that's also correct. You don't have to choose between right this moment but by December 17th, either to sell to us or to take the 40,000. You could take the 40,000 and then decide in 2026 to sell the unit.
Yeah, and if the next
But then
year-
you wouldn't be selling the unit to us. You'd be selling it to another qualified affordable housing buyer who.
It's just another option.
Yeah, who Tim or whoever.
But why these papers, both papers, my deed and this paper are saying that after 30 years, I can sell this unit for market value. I don't know what this is. For market value. So what weight does this have? If for 30 years I lived there, thinking, I renovated this place, thinking that I can sell it for market value. But if
Eleanor, so I'm going to have to kind of cut this short now because I know there's a lot of other people that want to ask questions, but I'm going to say one last thing. Affordable housing in the state of New Jersey, this is the state, and I just want to clarify, this is the state of New Jersey. This is not the Township of Homedale coming down on you here.
this is
What did I say?
Homedale.
Jesus.
Were you working in Homedale?
Very, yes, I just came from Homedale. So with that being said, affordable housing in our area is controlled by the state. The Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, UHOC regulations, guides all of this, okay? And we're following the law, the state. By the way, if anyone didn't realize, it is election day coming up, so think about that at the state level, make some decisions accordingly.
So can I jump in? So Tom, I think we keep not answering the one question yet. She said, where is this, essentially, and forgive me, where is this written?
It is,
Okay.
yes.
So it is not likely written in everyone's deed. It could be in some people's deeds. There are different, it depends on, you are an original owner, so it's probably not in your deed.
No, it's not in my deed. Neither it's in this paper that dated from 2025.
So the paper from 2025 was recorded because there was a concern, not specifically about your unit, but all units, that if somebody was in the process of selling their unit and the township was unaware of it, it was possible that the title record might not have reflected that there's a recapture mortgage. So we needed to make sure that anybody who was potentially going to buy one of these units, and it would have been an illegal sale, but just we wanted to make it clear that to everyone that this is an affordable unit subject to recapture. And the reason that's important, I know I'm going on, is that the township doesn't have to exercise the right of first refusal. I can tell you it probably is, but it doesn't have to. If it elected to not exercise the right of first refusal, then that recapture mortgage is important because that's the 50-50 split of the value above. So that really doesn't have anything to do with the right of first refusal. To answer Committeeman Rizzuto's question, it's not in the deed, but the UHAC regulations that the mayor is referring to, there's language in it that says that it applies to all restricted units regardless of the date they were created and regardless of what it says in the deed. And that regulation
So this piece
law.
of paper is obsolete as of today, as of now.
Well-
Basically. Not as of today, but as of now. And what about the grandfathered in law? That doesn't exist either?
Not as to this subject. Now, what I would say is the township can't arbitrarily just decide to slap a piece of paper on your title record and say your unit is now deed restricted for another 30 years and not compensate you or not offer the right of first refusal. That's what the town can't do.
I'm still confused.
Look, the best answer I can give you is that piece of paper stands for the proposition of it was deed restricted for 30 years.
And
The
why
law
the
says
people
that
that been here for 30 years, an original owner, have the same right as the people who moved there, let's say 5 years ago? Because the unit is completely.
So
valid.
Eleanor,
It's 30
affordable
years.
housing in our state is regulated by the UHAC regulations. UHAC regulations will change over time and
And what
morph
am I gonna
over
do?
time.
I'll be dead probably by that time.
So
The
with that being
regulations
said,
will
I
change.
think we have a plan, and the plan is Tom, not Amy, will reach out and clarify, and will clarify whether or not your home is in the low, moderate, or very low category, and you guys can work from there. You can choose to take the $40,000, and
what,
then,
next year if
and
I
then you can
decided to
choose,
sell?
and then you can choose
will be
to
deducted.
sell it to the maximum
No,
restricted
it would
price.
not be deducted.
Your 40,000.
That 40,000 would be your 40,000, and you could sell it another time.
Anything extra, you can turn around and sell.
I take 40,000 now. Next year, I decided I'm selling it, okay, because I want to move out. So that means that I will turn it to the Portsmouth.
You would call up Tim Anfuso and say, I'd like to sell it. He has over 15,000 people who are on a list, as you were 30 years ago, who sit on a list who are in need of affordable housing at the time. Okay, so Eleanor, as one of my fellow neighbors, I thank you for getting up and speaking. I do need to,
Can I just interject for a
you
second?
can interject and then we're going to move on
You're
for
coming to
somebody
the good
else.
news and you stopped. Go ahead, keep going with what you're saying just before. You get your $40,000, right? Keep going. And you get the $40,000.
And the next year,
You could wait.
I'll get
as long as someone-
152.
Yes.
100%
And the only difference would be.
profit.
Oh, I would love this in writing.
and the
That's kind of what I was
Aren't you happy you
saying,
came
there was
tonight?
other
I want
options.
this in writing, because
Thank
what
you,
I
Frank.
have the deed, apparently is obsolete. So what you're saying now, I would like this in writing.
Yes, it already is in writing.
Tom, is that the correct answer?
That is the correct answer. The only difference is in 2026, when you sell it for the maximum restricted price, you will be selling it not to the township of Colts Neck, you'll be selling it to another qualified affordable housing buyer. So it'll just be a sale between you and another person
Right.
as opposed to a sale to the town.
Right, at the same price.
But at the same price. The price is fixed.
It's 152.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you'll have that 40,000 already in your bank.
Okay, thank you for explanation.
Thank you.
Sorry that-
Any,
No, that's all right.
listen, this is important subject. This is people's lives, and I appreciate that.
And I think a lot of people had the same questions that you did, so I think you helped people, so.
And I apologize for not understanding.
I got the answer.
Thank you.
Anybody, Mr. Cook, am I saying that properly?
You are.
Okay.
Jeffrey Cook at 40 Federal Peak.
Is it just,
CO, okay. Yep. Question, I know it was asked already and answered that it doesn't, we're not waiting for all 66 units. Is there a specific number that Cul-de-sac is looking for to extend the affordability controls?
We can get.
We would love to.
66?
We'd love all
All
66.
of this is a voluntary program. As many homeowners as want to enter into this deal, we're happy to do it with them.
So, and I understand that if not all 66 do, we need additional building. Are there plans for that in place already? And is, depending on those plans, is there a certain amount of units that you're looking for from the grant?
I don't know if I understand,
Yeah,
Jeffrey,
so
exactly
to answer that,
what you're asking.
it will mitigate our obligation as many as we can
Right.
get. That's less we have to build. There's a myriad of other options we're looking for. One of them that came from the public was 100% affordable. Other ways to mitigate the number. Now, in a perfect world, if all people extended their affordabilities, our number would be greatly reduced, almost. Yeah.
Not at all.
But there are other, there are many other things, and there's also active interveners, as you heard before, that are trying to do, and I think everyone here is aware of that, and they're trying to do what they want to do. So, yeah, we're going to want to extend as many as we can.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the $40,000 is in the interest of time, so that we do know how we have to move forward if people don't extend the affordability controls.
That's exactly why there is a time limit on it.
Okay.
Because we want to get credits, right? And so the quicker we know how many units remain in that affordable housing stock, the better it is for us, because that reduces our obligation. And so that's why we're offering that money now and putting this December 3 time limit, which we're going to extend to December 17.
At which time we can answer their second question more accurately, because we don't, how do we negotiate with any other thing we're doing if we don't know how much we have to fill?
Sure. Thank you. If obviously none of us can really predict the future, but say we get half 33, we go to plans to build the additional number that's required by the state. 2 years from now, Cul-de-sac would have very little interest in exercising their right of first refusal. Would you tend to agree with that?
As somebody who will not be sitting here that many years from now, I can tell you it's not going to happen. Towns always exercise their right of first refusal. Towns are not letting affordable units go. There's always going to be another round of affordable housing. There's always going to be units to be had and got. The state, and you can see it through the UHAC regulations. If anyone reads, there's this giant book for the UHAC regulations. This affordable housing is going to continue, and they're going to incentivize to extend affordability controls. And Tom, you can probably speak to this. Isn't the state looking to not put limits anymore on it, to extend in perpetuity?
Yeah, there's these rules that, regulations that the mayor's referencing.
Which wouldn't have anything to do with your
are in flux, and
extension of controls.
It won't have any impact on this discussion, but in the future, it could be, I know there are people at the state who would like to make the deeds perpetually without the need to, provide compensation, or I think there's thoughts to change the regulations so that it's not a voluntary program. The town writes a check and it's automatically extended. I don't know where the law is going to come out. It's hard to predict it, but those are things that are being discussed at the state level.
Yeah, the state wants to keep the inventory. They want to, if a unit isn't extended, then it needs to be replaced somewhere else. It requires more building to offset the needed unit.
Tom, would that likely go towards the affordability controls 30 years from now that are going to come up again?
Well, yeah, that's the idea, is that there's people would argue there's a housing affordability crisis in New Jersey. And so the state is trying to maximize the amount of affordable housing units that remain in the available stock for folks. And so their goal is to incentivize municipalities to do everything they can to preserve them. And that's whether that's thinking about the plan between now and 2035, which is called the fourth round, or in future rounds, which would take us out another, into 30 years.
Okay. Getting close to the end, but as of right now, I understand there's no affordable control on the units unless somebody has signed that letter and sent it back. Is that correct?
Actually, technically, the units remain affordable pursuant to their deed restriction until the first, what's called a non-exempt sale, which basically means they stay affordable until one of three things happen. I'll call it in this instance. Somebody takes the $40,000 and extends the deed restriction, option one. Two, they advise the town that they're going to sell their unit. The town exercises its right of first refusal. The town would then buy the unit, put a new deed restriction on it. And then option three, unlikely, is the unit owner advises, I want to sell my unit. The town elects not to exercise its right of first refusal. At that point, after the sale happens and the unit owner splits the proceeds 50-50 with the town, then the unit would be released from being considered an affordable unit. But as of right now, even though technically the 30 years has expired, the units are still treated as affordable until that first sale happens.
And that control would limit the ability to rent it.
Correct.
Can you speak a little bit on the process moving forward? If you were to take the $40,000, is it just that one letter that we have to sign? Will there be additional letters, additional information, agreements, anything like that?
I mean, I can answer I don't think we fully have agreed on what all the processes will look like in terms of like the timeline when you would get the check, but you would sign the intent to extend, and then we would prepare an updated deed restriction, and then we would figure out a process, and I don't mean a process that's going to be exhaustively complicated, but where you deliver the signed deed restriction and the township would deliver the payment.
Which could easily be done within the first quarter of 2000.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is not something that would take an extensive amount of time. It's not like a real estate closing. It's just the execution of a document.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tina?
Okay, so this is getting more clear, which is great. So we signed another deed. It's the same sort of deed. It's just a signature says you can't rent and all these other options. But what about at one of our meetings, some people ask, what about if I can will it to family? So if that's not written anywhere, that's just us saying it, right?
So the affordable housing regulations, as I understand it, if somebody were to pass away, the deed would travel through, or the unit is inherited then by their spouse, their children, potentially grandchildren. I'm not.
Got called up for, you can turn it down. You're not penalized for that. And then you stay on the list exactly where you were, and they go to the next person.
But you want to be, it's just Monmouth Ocean.
Not at all.
Mercer. Okay.
Nope. And we are not allowed to do a preference within our municipality, which we won't get into the politics of agreeing or disagreeing with that, but we cannot preference of Cold Snack residents. We can't provide a preference of first responders. Of that. I mean, I'd love for us to say we're opening some of our affordable housing to our teachers who work in our town. I would love that. To do that. The state will not allow it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Melinda. And don't worry, you guys can stay longer. We're going to have another open public comment period.
Melinda Martin, 52 Glenwood Road. Is the 30-year expiration date a recommendation or a mandate by the state, the same for the 40-year going forward? And does the town have the option of making that in perpetuity, or again, is it mandated? And I guess there's some cost involved.
Yeah, I mean, I can say that we, the town doesn't pick that time period. The state for new building, like new build affordable housing, is a 45-year restriction. They've said for extension of controls, it must be a total of 60 years. So in other neighboring towns, there are units that were deed restricted for 20 years. Now they have to be 40 years. If you want to, it's.
It's a huge hassle, so.
And would we be able to say we want to permanently restrict a unit? I don't know if we have that.
I vaguely think it would violate of certain laws about a perpetual. And also I would be concerned that if we tried to deviate from the state mandated form of deed restriction, that we could encounter challenges as to whether or not we're entitled to credit.
Yeah.
So the short answer, and also it would be difficult for me to imagine that we could convince people to agree to that type of perpetual restriction, and whether it would be binding on their successors or heirs.
Sounds like maybe Amy could get someone to do that.
I'll put Amy on it.
Anybody else on affordable housing specifically?
Motion to close? Oh, you didn't need a motion, I'm sorry. Oh, discussion item.
We are going to move along to our old business. We have a second reading, which is a public hearing. This is regarding the grant as well. Ordinance 2025-22. This is the ordinance approving and authorizing the tax agreement by and between Colts Neck Township and Grand Condo Portfolio LLC for the preservation of affordable housing located at the Grand in Colts Neck. This is a second reading, public hearing by title. Comments?
Yes, Mayor, this memorializes the pilot with the 14 rental units, the grant.
And just to repeat what we've said on this, 100% of this pilot payment is going to go to our Board of Education, K through 8. They actually will be getting more money than if these units remained in the affordable stockpile and the landlord was paying the usual real estate taxes. The reason is because when we collect those usual real estate taxes, we divide it between Board of Ed, Freehold Regional High School, the state, the county, and the township. So that money gets divided. In this case, the entire pool of money is going to the Board of Ed. It's a benefit to the Board of Ed. Deputy Mayor and I actually met with representatives of the Board of Education before we introduced this ordinance and explained it to them. And they were pleased with it. Yes, the cost of educating a child in Colts Neck is $34,000. So it's much higher than the $12,000. But the practical effect is that the Board of Ed actually will be making more money here than they would without the pilot.
And if the schools increased enrollment because they are at historic lows right now, that cost per student actually drops. So.
And let me just, while I'm at it, one more thing. There was a question about, what's the real cost to the town for entering into this agreement to preserve these 14 units? We are paying $470,000. We're getting this pilot. We're giving up the right to recoup 50% of the sale price if the remaining 8 units were to ever be sold. And someone calculated the cost at, the real cost at maybe $2 million. Assuming that's true, you have to think about it in terms of what's the cost to the town if we didn't do this deal. So this deal, which preserves 14 units, gives us 7 extra credits. So in total, we have 21 credits against our affordable housing mandate that the state gives us. At that 5-to-1 ratio that we talked about, because builders can build 5 affordable units for every 5 market for every 1 affordable, that's potentially 105 buildings that we're taking off the market. But if we didn't do this and we had 105 new buildings, let's assume 1 child per household. That's 105 additional children in our schools at $34,000 a child. That's over $3 million cost in just 1 year. So the $2 million real cost is over 30 years. If we did nothing, we might be hit with a $3 million cost in just 1 year. Even if it's only half those number of kids, let's say it's 50 instead of 105. So it's $1.6 million, $1.7 million in 1 year. You multiply that over 30 years, the cost is astronomical. So, I read something that really resonated with me. Don't just look at the decision that we make, but look at the choice that we had, right? The choices that we have versus the decision that we make. And that's what we try to do every day when we balance these decisions. So anyway, thank you for indulging me.
I'm going to sneak, I'm doing what I don't like. I'm going to sneak in here too. Committeeman Viola mentioned this before, but he said it quickly. We are currently in litigation to regain the money spent on this. So I don't know if people understood that. And a lot of people, go on the internet to get the information. We're in litigation right now. Am I speaking out of school, Mike?
$133.25 for payment.
Second. Oops, sorry.
Deputy Mayor Viola,
Yes, usual recusals.
Committeeman Buzata,
Yes, with the exception of fire department.
Committeewoman Fitzpatrick. Yes. Committeeman Rizzuto.
Yes, with the exception of any bills related to the municipal court. Administrator's report.
I just have one item this evening. As you know, given the resolutions we just adopted, one of them was the departure of our dear friend and colleague Trina Lindsay. So I wanted to just publicly thank her for her service. And I think I speak on behalf of everyone that we will miss her, and we are grateful for everything that she's done for Colts Neck and our community. And I'm mad at you.
Wish you all the best.
And
That's all.
Job well done, and we wish you all the luck in the big city.
So I just want to chime in and echo some of the sentiments that I've heard when people have gotten notification that Trina is moving on to greater pastures, greater and bigger pastures. I'm sorry, not greater.
We don't know that.
Poor, terrible pastures. Warm, friendly, engaging, helpful, hardworking. These are some of the words that I've heard. In no way, shape, or form has it been surprising in any way, shape, or form. We're all very happy for you. We are very sad for ourselves, selfishly, and for the residents of Colts Neck, who I feel that you have diligently and thoughtfully served for so many years. We are there. Thank you. Another round of applause. You will be missed, but we're really happy for you in your new endeavor and wish you the best. So I just
want to echo also what the mayor said. I'm going to miss you, Trina. You were always such a big help, and you just work so hard. The elections, everything that's going on here. But I wish you so much luck and success. But we will miss you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I do not like to be the center of attention, if anyone can tell.
I know.
Well, Span's about to come in.
Yeah. I like to just sit and take my notes and type, but thank you, everyone. I really do appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the kind words. I've had a couple residents reach out and with some very kind words, so it's much appreciated. I am not leaving Colts Neck on any hard terms, as you can tell. It has been a pleasure to work here. I love this town. It's a beautiful town. Working with Kathleen has been literally one of the most highlights of my career. I can tell you that right now. You guys have a great administrator. You have a great committee, and you have the best attorney in the state.
Tom Chapman.
Throw your shoe at him, man.
Trina, I've always appreciated your can-do, will-do, and keeping us on track, and your camaraderie. It's been a pleasure working with you. We'll miss you. Best of luck to you.
Of course.
She'll be close by. We'll drag her back.
And now that this is live streamed and recorded, you can go back and realize when you're feeling unappreciated in the future and you just need to remember that, don't worry, I am appreciated. It will be long past you leaving us. So back to township updates. Committeeman Bezzetta, would you like to give us some exciting news?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to be as quick as I can.
Make it fast.
I want to
That's what I heard.
Just provide an update on the most recent Board of Education meeting that was held on October 15. The president of the Board of Ed, I think, expressed her frustration and frankly, the frustration we all feel with affordable housing. We've heard a lot about it tonight with this unfunded state mandate. The president made several comments, as did other Board of Ed members. For example, about this, the Gasali lawsuit, this lawsuit started by the mayor of Montvale, in which 30 some odd towns have now joined that lawsuit to litigate against the Mount Laurel doctrine. And there were comments made, frankly critical of this body, that we did not join that lawsuit. There were two lawsuits. One was filed in state court, one filed in federal court. The state lawsuit was dismissed last month. The court ruled against the mayor and against the 27 towns. The second lawsuit that is pending in federal court is subject to a motion to dismiss that the court is reviewing right now. Frankly, we've considered joining that lawsuit. We opted not to, not because we don't believe in the cause, right? Not because we don't believe that Mayor Gasali and the other towns have made good arguments, but frankly, there are experts who have told us that they didn't think that the lawsuit would be successful. It wasn't, at least on the state court level, but affordable housing is expensive, right? And we have your tax dollars to think about where we spend and how we spend it. And we all want to be fiscally responsible and fiscally conservative. And so, our bills tonight, had fees from our attorneys just handling the affordable housing issues that we have in this town. If money was no object, yeah, maybe we would, but we need to be fiscally responsible. But here's the key point. If Mayor Gasali is successful, if he wins, we win. We win. We benefit from it. All the towns do. So is it fair that we benefit from a lawsuit if we don't join in and spend the legal fees? We can debate that. But the fact is, if they're successful, we're successful. And the other thing I'll say is there's maybe a misconception that if more towns join the lawsuit, the judge, right, who's deciding it will say, "Ooh, look how many towns are joining. Maybe we'll make them win." Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, right? Fair Share Housing, which is the defendant in the lawsuit, they don't care how many towns join the lawsuit. Judges aren't moved by the number of towns that join the lawsuit. So I wish Mayor Gasali well. It's not that, we fell asleep at the switch and didn't want to join. We considered it. We made, in our judgment, we made the decision not to join it. Two other points at that meeting. They also was mentioned that we didn't acquire the rental units at the Grand last year or 2 years ago when they were sold. The mayor, you've already addressed that. We had no right to acquire those units at that time. So it wasn't that we were asleep at the switch. We just didn't have the right to do it until the affordability controls expired. So, okay, enough about affordable housing. Switching to seniors. Monthly luncheon. I did not attend it this month, but there were, I understand, 91 seniors in attendance at the lunch. And finally, as I do every month, I report on crime statistics in our town, and these are the statistics for September. There was a slight increase in the numbers: 1 simple assault, 2 burglaries, 4 larcenies, but 0 motor vehicle thefts and 0 robberies and 0 for the rest of the list. So there's good news in this, right? We continue to be blessed that we live in a town that is one of the safest towns in New Jersey. That's a testament to all of you and how you maintain your properties, keeping lights on at night now that it gets dark. And it's a testament to our police officers. So thank you to them.
Thank you, Committeeman Bezzetta. Committeewoman Fitzpatrick.
No.
Oh, you turned it off on me.
Frank was trying to silence you.
That's easy to do, really. Since our last meeting, I attended the Cold Neck Business Association Pig Roast. It's their 60th annual, and it's always a great time. Just wanted to mention November 18th is their next meeting, which they will be voting on their executive board for 2026. Also attended the trunk or treat at Bucks Mill. Was very impressed with a lot of the trunks that were decorated and the attendance. It's a great time for the kids, and the CMBA, Cold Neck Business Association, had 3 checks for the first responders. So it was the first aid, the fire department, and the fire police donation checks. I also attended the historic preservation event at Firehouse Number 1, and it was so beautifully decorated. I thought they did a great job, and everybody had a great time there. And I was really impressed with one of the kids' costume. He was dressed as the man from the Monopoly game.
Yeah.
And a Monopoly board around him,
He
this
won.
little guy. He did. I thought he would. That was so clever and so creative, but it was very cute. And I think with all the excitement for Halloween and the kids looking forward to it, I think the weather's going to hold out for them. So glad about that. Thank you.
Committeeman Rizzuto.
Well, since the Office of Emergency Management doesn't move that quickly, and the only thing I ever really have to report on is the status of our drill preparation and our master plan preparation. And I believe our master plan was finally done. It took a while because it was a long drawn out process, but the regulations changed in the middle of our planning process and we had to shop it around to the different divisions. Anyway, it's all done. So that's all I'll say about that because my fellow committeeman yelled at me. Long range didn't meet. First aid, not much to report there. I wish Al was here. It's been a busy couple of weeks in the fire department. First aid, holidays are coming up. People are, on the road a lot of car accidents, and they're doing a great job. Historic police department, really only thing to report on that is, as Committeeman Bezzetta said, it is getting darker. Keys out of those cars, lights on the outside. Target hardening is the best defense. If you have exterior lights, use them. Don't cheap out. Leave them on. Lights are your best friend on the exterior. Lock your doors and take your fobs out of your cars. And if you know you have an expensive car and you have a 5-car garage, put it in the garage at night. Even if you have a 1-car garage, put it in the garage if you have room. 100% of the cars that have been stolen, the high-end car rackets, 100% of them, fob was in the car. Now, having said that, those fobs if they're within a certain distance from the vehicle. So I come in from the garage or from the driveway and I put it on my hook, or I put it on the little table by the garage door or wherever you come into the house. Raise your hand if you put your keys somewhere at the same time every time. And if that's within a certain distance from your car, I have a gadget, I'm the thief. And I could tell if it's connected, or I know it's in shooting distance, right? So that will give me an incentive to break in because I only know I have to go about 30 feet away. Look around the garage, okay, up the 2 steps, poke my head into the hall, and that's where the keys will be because I know they're somewhere close to being connected. So I just have to find them. And that's the only time you'll see someone actually going into a house. That's probably what they're looking for, is for that connectivity because they want the very high-end car in the garage. Historic preservation. Unfortunately, I got called into work on Saturday, so I missed Trunk or Treat, which is one of my favorite events, but I heard it was fantastic. I did make it back in time for the Historic Preservation Committee's Haunted Hayride. I think it was the biggest year we've ever had. I was part of the entertainment in the woods all night, but we had reenactors there. We had Civil War reenactors, Revolutionary War reenactors. We had ghosts and goblins and zombies, and I'd like to thank all the volunteers who did that. A lot of school groups, college kids, school groups, scouts came out to volunteer to be the talent, the show, so to speak, out in the woods there. A lot of oohs and ahs from everybody on the hayride. Again, it's only getting bigger. Attraction in New Jersey for the money. $10, and you could ride that hayride 10 times if you want. You could ride it out all night long. There was one little girl who I noticed never got off the wagon. Literally, she was just like a little Harlequin clown, and she literally was on every single hayride. So thank you to everyone who made that, especially, the Historic Preservation Committee. They're actively getting involved in the trick-a-bicentennial thing. I don't know how to say the word, so it's the 250th anniversary.
Quincentennial.
Semi-quincentennial.
Semi-quincentennial.
See, you can't even see it, doctor. So how am I supposed to say it? So it's
Spell
the semi-quincentennial, 250th anniversary of the United States. We formed a committee, and I think Sue's chairing the committee, and president of Historic Preservation's on it, and other representatives from the town to participate in Monmouth County's larger celebration. So a lot of our local events that we do. And speaking of which, then I would be remiss if I didn't. We are going to, of course, have December 7th, the Country Christmas from 1 to 4 at the Montrose Schoolhouse. Everybody come to that event. That one's free. And you can get your pictures if you have kids or grandkids with a real Santa Claus. Real Santa Claus. And it's free. So you don't have to wait on an hour and a half at the mall and may or may not get a real Santa Claus, but we have a real Santa Claus.
The ham is meh.
The ham is excellent. I hear the ham is excellent. And we also are doing a nice thing. So Eddie Brock, owner of Brock Farms, lives in town and is a great supporter of the town. We are rededicating a memorial to his grandson on November 8th at 2:30 in the afternoon. If anybody's interested, we did have a plaque for him, a memorial plaque for him, and he donated a few trees for Montrose School. Unfortunately, the plaque was made out of ceramic that's somewhat porous, and it got wet and then froze and it cracked. So we're going to put something a little bit more permanent for him there. And I do believe, I don't think I'd be remiss in saying it's no surprise that we're also going to dedicate a plaque at the Montrose Schoolhouse on that date in the memory of Lillian Burry, who a lot of people didn't know this, but she was instrumental in, once the Historic Preservation Society, which was just a club, went defunct and inactive, Lillian revived that, made it into a municipal committee, and then obtained that property and their trust fund transferred over to the Historic Preservation Committee. So she was instrumental in getting that done. And then she was also instrumental in the original renovation because she was an active member of the society as well. So it's only fitting, and I do believe she was a teacher a long time ago. So it's only fitting that the school is a little dedication to a plaque in the memory of Lillian Burry. So that was a very nice idea by the mayor, and I'm very proud to support that. So that's gonna, again, on the 7th at Montrose School. So I suggested everybody get there, and the police, I don't know if I've said, but not much to report other than just go on their Facebook page for all their services, such as the kid seats and the coffee with the cop and anything else that pops in there. Maybe no shave November is coming up, so I'm sure you're going to see a lot of hairy cops soon. So, and then they extend it to December and January. So for the winter, you're going to see a lot of beards on the police. So prepare. All right, that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Trina, we're like, go big or go home. This is a long meeting. We want to make sure we leave with a bang. Deputy Mayor.
On that note, let's see, affordable housing? No, we covered that. Public Works, all fall brush pickup is complete. If you have brush out in the street, it's out of compliance. It likely will be written up by code enforcement. The first of 2 leaf pickups for this fall is underway. They're midway through Zone 2. There is a third pickup by reservation only. Please follow the guidelines in the brochure. There's a number to call, DPW, a time period to call, and a cutoff. If you're a minute late on the cutoff, you're off. It's by contract. This is the contract we have with the vendor who's going to pick up the leaves. It has to be by reservation. So please note that in the brochure. Capital Road projects are underway. And again, whatever isn't finished before the weather changes and the asphalt plants shut down for the winter will be picked up and completed in the spring. Finance, county evaluation and new appraisals are due later this fall. That's one of the first drivers for building a budget that we're beginning to work on. Let's see, I too attended the PTO trunk or treat at Bucks Mill. Beautiful afternoon, very well attended. Thank you to the CMB for donating to the first responders. They made a cash donation, which they do regularly, to our first responders, PD, fire department, first aid. And I too was at the spectacular event at the Firehouse number 1, very well attended. A lot of exciting costumes. Yes, Mr. Monopoly was off the charts. And the Little Wicked Witch flew around too. She was great as well. So they each got a little bucket of candy. That was their prize. Veterans Day is the 11th day, the 11th month, the 11th hour at Cedar Drive Middle School. If you're a veteran or active service, please consider attending. And residents interested in serving on boards, committees, or commissions, now's the time to state your interest. Please go onto the website, look for a citizen leadership form. Put
I
your
have
interest.
citizen leadership forms printed out for you in the back if anyone would like to take.
Return to the municipal clerk. Please state, you'll put your background in there and your interests and your qualifications, and we match up those needs and those qualifications with what needs we have on boards, committees, and commissions. So if you have any interested, or you know anyone interested in stepping up to volunteer like we do, it's not as much work being on a board, committee, or commission as it is being on the governing body, but please have them fill that form out and submit it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I just want to reiterate that because that was on my list as well. I know that there's people believe that we are only putting friends and family members on some of these boards and commissions. That is not the case. People fill out citizen leadership forms. They show an interest. You can find out about all the different things or talk to one of us about what you want. So there's not always a vacancy. So I know that we've gotten people who are interested in, say, a zoning board seat, but there wasn't a vacancy. So we do have to hold that until there is a vacancy. So it's not that there's all these seats open and available all the time, but just put in your interest. Unfortunately, I've been in the heart of college tours, so I missed a lot of these events. Unfortunately, Halloween is one of my favorites. And as I have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to take my mom for her reverse shoulder surgery, I'll be missing Halloween in the Grand.
Whoa.
So
That's blasphemy, isn't it?
it's going to save me $1,000 in candy. And I am actually very sad for that. But thank you to all the groups that contribute to these things, especially historic preservation, for all that they do as well in putting this on. So citizen leadership forms are in the back. I also put in Breakfast with Santa flyers, Breakfast with Santa, which is over at Firehouse number 2. And that is in the back. I did a little flyer for that. I also have put a Friends of the Library sale. Friends of the Library is running a book sale on November 15th and November 16th. The hours are on there. Come. There are so many books there, and honestly, most of them are like brand new. So come get them as a gift, as accessories for decorating your home. If you come to my house, there's a lot. You'll see. Oh, and you can read them too. So I left that in the back. I also put back there a scanned form, and this is on our website. The Department of Environmental Protection is doing a survey, a public survey on PFAS, which are microplastics basically in our water systems and in our areas. They're doing a public survey. So I have printed out a few sheets. You can scan it and bring it up. They're soliciting the public's feedback to ensure that the voices of our community are being heard. So I really would encourage everybody to go on there. It's a very quick survey, 5 to 10 minutes. The survey link is there, but it's also on our website. I also want to thank the Monmouth County Board of Commissioners, who is collaborating with JCP&L to host a series of in-person information sessions to educate our residents about energy assistance programs available to them. That is on our website as well. I'm sure everybody here has gotten a bill recently, an electric bill, and is having a hard time even wrapping their head around the price increases. So they are doing an in-person session. The information link is on our website as well, so you can find that out. I also had the pleasure of about a week and a half ago hosting a Girl Scout troop here in this room and doing a tour. I love it. So I just wanted to say thank you to Sergeant Molinelli, Patrolman Gahagan, and Patrolman Tomeo, who did a phenomenal job. And every time I have the opportunity to do a tour, I learn something new. including all kinds of cool stuff about perps in the back of cars. So the Girl Scout troop was just fabulous, and they asked great questions. Not that anyone needed to know about the parent that was arrested. People don't need to know those things, but they share all kinds of information. And then lastly, in reference to the library as well, DPW hosted a Touch a Truck event. And I actually thank you for putting these in some pictures. We had some pictures. We wanted to put them up on the screen, but we didn't. So you can see some of these great pictures here. I'll pass them around for people to see. And they read stories as well. So I just want to thank them for all that they do, not just making our town look fabulous, but also reaching out to the kids and engaging with them. So making these memories, we're very lucky with the departments that we have here. That is all I have.
Mary, did you want me to put these pictures up there for people to see?
Yes, absolutely. See,
Right.
thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for mentioning that as well, because I also had another flyer back there. For many of you are aware that there has been a shutdown of our government. There's a food pantry that exists on Naval Weapons Station Earl. There was a food drive started by DAR, which is Daughters of the American Revolution, and they're a great group. We work with them in town. They help do grave markers of Revolutionary War soldiers. They do a lot of phenomenal work. And they started a food drive because they knew that there was a need on Naval Weapons Station Earl. And when the government shutdown occurred, the need has just blown up and skyrocketed. We have people who are over there. They haven't been paid in a month. They have a lot of needs. There's a donation drop-off over at the Colts Neck General Store. And Mary Pahira over at the Colts Neck General Store is nice enough to host that donation box. And they're going to be bringing over items as they come in over to Naval Weapons Station Earl's Food Pantry. So really, I would strongly encourage you to grab a flyer. It will also be on our website, and please consider donating. Thank you for that reminder. Okay, as I closed my agenda already, can I get a motion to open to public comment?
Second.
I'm not going to give the big rundown since we've been going. You basically get 4 minutes to speak. Once you stop speaking, we'll choose to respond. Mr. O'Brien, come on up. That wasn't an attempt to shorten your time duration, just I feel like we've all been speaking a lot.
I'm on point. Per my exchange with Martha Satt, Director of Green Acres over the Colts, did not support the great Jake's Law playground funding fact sheet, a state document. The document says, if there currently are restrooms that service the play area where the inclusive park will be, but they can and unisex bathrooms, then a family assisted use toilet room must be installed. DC 8 regulation, section 1102. Jake's Law was created in 2018. Was it incompetence, ignorance, or just clearly missed, as the family-style bathroom is not included in the engineering plans? The cost of plans, bid specs, and septic design was over $61,000. Colts Neck needs to redo the plans to include the family-style restroom. Per the state document, Green Acres recommends that applicants engage with potential inclusive playground users within the community to solicit quiet play areas, suggestions, and requests. Colts Neck wrote in the Green Acres application, our Recreation Committee, Sports Foundation, and others who utilize our parks and facilities in town were surveyed for their input on park needs and wants. The Colts Neck survey document sent to Green Acres made no reference to Jake's Law, no reference to the all-inclusive park, or seeking comments on quiet areas. Your survey was rather biased. Per the Board of Education, there are about 200 special needs children. Why weren't those 200 special needs children and all families with children given the opportunity to provide input on the all-inclusive park? You missed the mark. Jake's Law calls for feedback from the users. Why not work with the Board of Education to get the survey out to all users? Placing the inclusive park near the bathrooms would shorten the trip in a wheelchair by almost 300 feet. Mayor Buss, you stated the bathrooms would only be open during sporting events. Don't discriminate against those special needs children that need the bathrooms during the day. You want the grant money, the bathroom should be open between dusk to dawn. Deputy Mayor Viola commented, tried to justify the $1.3 million project for the new bathrooms at 5 Points over the Porta Johns. The record showed the rental was $29,400 and change for all parks. Tough to justify. It's a 74-year payback. The $200,000 county grant was given back. Don't recall that being shared at a public meeting. Why didn't Colts Neck apply for the up to $500,000 county grant in 2004 and again in 2025? Why not build the bathrooms as the need exists and add the meeting room if justified at a later point in time? Two different projects, connect them together. The public notice on the public hearing of the park briefing was posted as Tuesday, January 20th, 2025. The notice is memorialized on page 11 of the application. January 20th is a Monday. The meeting was a Tuesday. The meeting was on the 21st. It was posted on the 20th. I believe that would be a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act. It was posted on the wrong date. The meeting was never posted on the town website. There's a lot of misses on this thing. They're all correctable, but you may not be in line for the funding in the next go round because you missed the mark. The other thing is, you were looking for 75%. Most of the applications that went in were 50-50 matching funds, and they all were awarded. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Just a few things. I appreciate the points that you bring up with the surveying. I'm not familiar with the specific folks, but as we move forward with any projects that we have, I think that we have a fairly good relationship with the Board of Education. I do think it would be important to partner with them and involve the special needs children and groups in town as well. So not looking to necessarily go back to things that were done previously, but moving forward, I think we always learn a lot of things. So thank you for that as well. Mike, did you?
We were awarded $200,000 by the county 3 years ago. We never accepted the award. We didn't give it back. We never accepted it. We never accepted any monies and never transmitted any monies back. We didn't accept the award. That's it.
Anybody else from the public?
Yes.
Oh, we're going to fight. Listen, Mr. Taylor made it there first. He
Very quick question, just resolution 183 from the day's agenda.
Michael
Taylor again, 42 Raven Road, sorry. Resolution 183 mentions the execution of the agreement with Piazza and Associates for Affordable Housing Administration Support Services. Just curious, again, compound question, is that a continuation of an agreement that was previously in place? And then what are the specific nature of those services provided?
Kathleen,
I
would
can
you like to
respond to
answer
that. As someone may have mentioned earlier, Tim Infuso is our Affordable Housing Administrator. It's a certified position. So only someone that has been certified in the Affordable Housing Administration skill set can review renewal applications. He's out on an extended medical leave. So Piazza and Associates, we're retaining them as a official certified Affordable Housing Administrative agent to review the applications that may be coming in for recertification of income qualification. Thank you.
So it's an interim.
Yeah, it's just a temporary consulting position to provide that skill set.
Yes.
Hi, Teen Big Beach Lane. RIMALDI. I'm here because somewhere along the line a couple of weeks ago, I saw something about Wellspring Farms and the letter that the Navy sent to the mayor. You try to look into stuff, very little out there. Just found out today audit. Well, on December 15th, 2024, Overbrook Farms sold to a mysterious buyer, which is always scary. And then the next day, on December 16th, 2024, Wellspring Farm also was sold at auction. Both of them were auction to a mysterious buyer. Now, I believe Wellspring Farms were bought by Active Acquisitions, and that they want to do a 500 unit age restriction. What is going on? I mean, I can't even go down 537 anymore. That drives me crazy. They're right on the road, you know. So now that was pushed through. I was here for meetings on that. Not pushed through, but first it was 40 units, then it became, what it turned out to be 360. And I was at a meeting where they said, oh, it doesn't matter if there's 40 units or 360, it's not going to affect traffic. Okay. So now I see this and I don't know anything about it. It's literally up the road from me. I'm at Laird and 537, which is a nightmare to go left to right now. And yes, my kids will make fun of me. On December 31st, I will turn 65. So I will be a senior citizen. So I can say this. I do not want 500 units of senior citizens trying to get out on 537. I think that would be a nightmare.
I appreciate you clarifying that you are able
Yes.
to state that.
In that statement. No, but it's just what's going on. You know, like I don't want, it says 100 units are going to be on high rise. What's a high rise?
So I just want to first of all say thank you. And for people watching, a huge thank you. I'll just take this at first and then I'll move it along to my affordable housing liaison folks. I just want to thank you for coming out. There's a lot of stuff that's out there, a lot of information that's out there. A lot of it is misinformation. And then sometimes we go down rabbit holes and all that kind of stuff. So in our affordable housing, legislation changed back in 2024. It changed the way affordable housing is approached. So instead of builder remedy lawsuits and all these kinds of things, we have what's called objectors. So basically, there was a time limit where people were able to object to our affordable housing plan. We had 2 builders come in and object to our 4th round affordable housing spending plan. And that basically saying, we don't agree with what you're doing, which is taking a durational adjustment, and you guys can fill in the blanks. But the long and the short of it is they're objecting to our plan and they're saying, we want to come in and build this. So let's just be clear. They want to come in and build. So there's a long history of affordable housing. If you were in those meetings, I was in those meetings too. I wasn't involved on the governing body at the time. That was one of the reasons I got involved, because some of it I was shocked and amazed. I was angered. I was incensed. How dare the state tell us that we have to build X, Y, Z? And I'm not talking about affordable housing. I'm talking about overdevelopment in a low density town. It's unconscionable. It's ridiculous. I have a brand new 17-year-old driver driving back and forth by Lavana every single day. The traffic is crazy.
They're not even in yet.
That aside, right now, Active Acquisitions has a contract for purchase on Wellspring. I am not aware of what you're talking about with some of the other stuff with who owns it. We were in discussion with, I believe it was Mr. Vukovic, who owns Wellspring, to preserve his property. He's had that piece of property on the market. He's been trying to sell for, I believe it's $28 million. He doesn't seem that motivated because he hasn't dropped the price in 10, 15 years. But that aside, there's a contract to purchase, and Active Acquisitions is basically saying, we would like to build this. This is what we would like to build. And the Navy in a 3,000 that falls within the 3,000 foot setback, which is the military influence area. We don't like to call it the implosion zone, but
That's
it
what
is. And they have a vested interest in what goes on. So if there's any development that goes on within that area, you have to alert the Navy to it. And the Navy says that's incompatible. That is not where high density housing should go. It's not a good place. Wellspring falls within that military influence area. Okay. It's, I believe, 1 mile away from where they detonate ordnance on a regular basis over there. It is not a compatible space. We have areas in our town that are zoned specifically for higher density housing that we consider to be safer locations, more reasonable locations, our downtown business district. So I think we all agree that a large-scale, high-density housing complex in the military influence area, in a environmentally sensitive area as well, is not ideal. However, as Kushner owned his property for 30 years before he chose to develop it and redevelop it in a variety of ways, people have the right to come up with plans of what they'd like to do for their property. It doesn't mean the township has to say, yes, you can do that. So that's where we are right now with that project. And then we have another project, which is, I believe, a 209 unit townhome complex down Aubrey Road. Again, another area that is not necessarily supportive of a 209 unit townhome complex. And let's be clear, Active Acquisitions hasn't actually given a true exact look for what they're, like a site plan for what they were looking for. So there's been a few things with like apartments, high-rise buildings, single-family homes. It was, from what I understand, 55 and older active adult community. And so I'll kind of end it there and let you guys, if anyone else
Mrs.
wants
Rinaldi,
to.
I thank you for bringing up Overbrook, because you gave a classic example of how preservation works. So back in Mayor Fitzpatrick's tenure, when she was mayor, the county, the Navy, and Colts Neck preserved, didn't buy it, we
Okay,
preserved it.
preserve it.
So what that means is that it has to maintain a farm in perpetuity. Doesn't mean the farm can't be sold.
Mm.
The farm was sold to a TV executive from New York who's leaving it as a farm. That's the law. So that's 243 acres, 240 acres were preserved and are protected. But that was a private sale as a farm. So the previous family enjoyed the benefits of the preservation price. It was about $8 million, I believe. And then they sold the property, I think, for another $7 or $8 million. So they got $16 million for how they handled Overbrook. But there's no development going on Overbrook. Wellspring, as the mayor had articulated, it's not in the right place. All the properties, all the pristine properties that we have in town that developers just are licking their chops to develop and put as much housing on as possible are encumbered by the base. There's the 3,000-foot setback, then there's another 2-mile setback. And they have certain type of housing limitations. They don't want high-density housing. They don't want townhouses. They don't want apartments. They don't want police stations. They don't want hospitals. They don't want assisted living. You know, they don't want, you can't have high-density people in that zone because they cannot absolutely guarantee
Right.
there won't be an issue. So as the mayor had articulated, we got one, what you saw from the Navy is what we got. We received it on a Tuesday. We met an executive on the next day, the Wednesday. We talked about it in this session, and then we put it on the website the following morning.
Okay.
We, just because they asked or want to do something doesn't mean they're
Can I
going to
say
get to do it.
something? I'm just afraid of this active acquisition. It says literally, we customize reputation for improving communities with customized solutions to challenging projects. And the challenging projects are zoning, communal acceptance, government approval, environmental issues, FAA approvals. In other words, we'll go over all of that and still get it built for you. That's what concerns me, not what you want. They seem to specialize to come in and say, guess what? I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to be able to build this. I was thrilled to see that the Navy, that you put up the letter from the Navy. I hope they have a little bit more pull than me on 17 Big Beach Lane, but
Well, the Navy is not a regulatory agency, so they can just express their concerns and
Concern.
their opinions. We're the regulating agency. We control the zoning. So
what
we
if they
will,
come in with lawsuits saying, how dare you say I can't develop this?
that'll
Or how
have to
dare
play
you-
it, that'll have to
So-
play out in court.
We'll
Yes,
defend
and-
those lawsuits.
Yes, and this
Mhm.
is
We'll
where.
defend those lawsuits.
I mean, it's scary.
This is where we keep talking about the extension of controls, working with nonprofit agencies to provide our own affordable housing projects that the town wants, that they've said that they want. This is where our strategies come in trying to develop what we want to see, not what, say, an Active Acquisitions or a March Associates wants to see. And that's just marketing there. Any developer is going to help walk you through the zoning process and the community and all of that.
How many
It's-
units do we have to have? What's the regulation?
So that's a big question.
Yeah, I mean,
That's an awfully big question.
Let's keep it simple. If I might interrupt, I'm sorry.
It really is a simple, but just.
Good.
It's, we're in round 4 now.
okay.
Round 3 ended on June 30th of this year. We have an unfulfilled obligation from round 3, which is 1999 to 2025, of 138 units. We have an obligation for round 4, 2025 to 2035, for 101 units
These are additional.
in addition.
Yes,
So
okay.
it's 239 we have. But we've already taken 21 off the top, and we're working, we've provided an option for
Does the 66?
to the 66. If we get 66, we have 66 more credits.
But we also get bonus credits for extension of controls. Isn't it a quarter, 1 1/4?
I believe it's 1-to-1. I believe there's no, for the extension of owner
Any-
occupied.
Either way, yes, we
Well,
get,
even the 500 units on whatever, it's 162 acres, I think, or something like that. How do they justify water?
that's,
They don't. They just come in and
Right.
say, this is what they want to do.
Fair Share and the Builders Association will come in and say, we want to build here. And the state legislatures have set up the system with the judiciary to kind of game it against the municipality to where most objections, and no one's ever won in this. And if you fight and lose, then you lose everything. And they would be able to build something like that.
How long have you lived in town, Mrs. Rinaldi?
Almost 20 years.
So we have a volunteer fire department, volunteer first aid. Our fire department needs to bring water to a fire.
Right. I don't,
So
500 units.
So we're concerned.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of delve into this. So I always said this in the previous hearings. You're going to go through, how many stages of grief? 7, 5? Denial, this, that. Most people get caught in the anger phase, and it sounds like you're getting there.
Well, because
then what-
with the other one, I was like 40 units to 360, and what the heck just happened?
Well, no,
So-
Or whatever it
you're
was.
compressing
can
a lot
I,
of
can I
time
just
there.
Yeah, I
stop
know,
this?
but you
In
know
the-
what I'm
Guys,
saying.
in the interest of time,
Yeah.
we have our professionals and our employees still here. I don't want to
No,
rehash.
that's fine.
So we need to exchange numbers so we can kind of
Yeah,
continue
it's
this
just- I mean, it's-
conversation
And I just happened
after.
to find it. I'm like, what is this?
Just know that the town is doing something about it.
Okay.
It's not a
That's all I
done
wanna
deal.
know.
The town is doing something about it.
Thank you.
So,
And
and thank you for coming out.
We
Don't
can't
look
share what
into
we're
that.
doing or what our plan, we can't share our strategy or what our plan is.
Okay.
It's litigation.
I just want to make sure,
We're well aware of it.
good. No, obviously, I know you are. well aware. Thank you.
Thank
Is there
you.
anybody else from the public?
Motion to close.
No, we
you-
got one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you get that.
Joe Rinaldi, 17 Big Beach. So my wife, Joe Rinaldi. The present acquisition company that wants to make this attempt on this property is also in litigation in Howell and in Wall, because he's trying to do the same thing there. He's bought open tracts of land and he's building warehouse space. It is what he specializes in. He seems to be aggressive in getting and breaking zoning laws. And he seems to enjoy it. I think the town's got a good fight. I think the biggest ally we have is Earl, Yes.
Yep.
Because they have the pockets. He's got pockets deeper probably than this town. So I think Earl's going to be our best
Well, we
advocate
did
for
have
us.
success in the development because of that.
Yeah, so back in round 3, back in 2018, there was a property that was in that area in round 3 that Toll Brothers wanted to build 248 townhomes. We fought it because of where it was, and it's 25 units. It's still 25 homes, but it's 10% of what was proposed. So we've defended that line before, and keeping in mind that the Navy's not a regulatory agency, they depend on all the townships that are surrounded by this to help them defend the zone. And that's what we're prepared to do.
Now, isn't that property right now zoned 10 acres?
It is.
Yes.
Broken up, so it has to be 10 acres.
Yep.
That would be considered
We-
compatible to the Navy. Its
We
current
do
use.
have land in town, in the business district, that is zoned for higher density housing. So, and is available for purchase for developers if they so choose to do projects there.
I just have one quick question. Is there a way to start a motion that all farmland in Cold Snack be moratorium. That if it's a farm now, it has to be sold as a farm and stay a farm. And is there a way to do
I
that?
wish.
Well, if
That, I think our attorney can
If it's
jump in.
preserved.
Yes.
Because I've lived here since 1982. And the
So-
town has changed.
I think you
incredibly
should
in that
start trying to get all the farm owners in our town to preserve. We are actively speaking with people all the time about preservation efforts. And the county, the state, the town
The
has
Navy.
preservation funds, and the Navy, thank you, has preservation funds available to that. So absolutely, but we can't tell you that you have to preserve it. You have to make that choice for yourself. And don't leave without getting our phone number, so at least we can continue the dialogue and you
the
can
second
finish
thing is
asking
farmland open
questions.
Space referendums that you'll see. Is there one up on the county this year?
Yes.
There
There's
is.
one up on the county this year. Sometimes you'll see it through us as well. And a lot of people say, it's a new tax. No. That's the one that you should pay, because that goes into that fund that
Protects the farm.
protects the farm.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Can I get a motion to close public comment?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next Township Committee meeting will be held on Wednesday, November 12th. Oh, that's my birthday. At 7 PM, Town Hall. I
Is that a
expect a cake.
You just set the record, man.
Actually,
You
don't,
It's a hint.
for the
just set
longest
record.
maker.
Yeah, for the longest maker.
Trina, don't turn it off before we say, oh, we're so sad.
Yeah, it's big town hall.
I'm kidding.
2 hours and, was it 2 hours and 45